Hello viewers, today I want to share with you something I'm sure which will stay with you for the lifetime, and that is how to share the constructive criticism. In the era of social media where we can talk to anyone, talk against anyone, there is need to learn the process of constructive criticism. So there are 5 steps I would like to share with you, and I'm sure these 5 steps will help you throughout the life to handle any conflict, to share the constructive criticism with anyone. So the first step is that sit down with that person with which you have a conflict, to whom you want to give a constructive criticism. Okay, this is the first thing, is that, and sit down and tell him that how important that person is to you. If he is your subordinate, you can tell him that this person is important for your team. He is one of the key members in the team. If that's your kid, then obviously you can tell him that he is extremely important for you. If he is your student, then still you can tell him that as a student he is important for you. You want him to be successful. This is the first thing. The second thing is that once you sit down with him, tell him about your own mistakes. What happens is that most of the time I see these days, whenever someone becomes a boss, someone becomes a teacher, we forget our own mistakes. We all the time highlight and pinpoint others. Oh, this is mistake in you, this is mistake in you. So whenever you are going to give someone criticism, first sit down and tell them that they are important. Second, tell them your own mistakes. That whenever you were at their point, whenever you were writing this thing, you also used to make mistake. Whenever you were making the videos, you also used to make the mistakes. Whenever you started your career as an officer, you also used to make mistake. Whenever you were a student, what kind of mistakes you used to make. And then comes the third point. Then ask him to be direct. Can I talk to you about this thing? Ask him. If he says no, then it's okay. Sit down some next time. And if he says yes, you can be direct with me. Most of the time when you've done 2 things, that you told him why he's important, you talk to him about your own mistakes, then he or she will say, okay, be direct with me. And then you're gonna tell him that this is the issue. This is how you are behaving, why you are absent, why you are doing all these things. Then you can ask him the exact issue we are gonna talk about him. And be very clear, be very precise. And the 5th thing, which is very important, is give him a clear direction. Give him a clear direction. Tell him that if he is going to change this behavior, if he is going to change behavior, this thing can happen. If he is not going to change this behavior, this thing can happen. I have seen so many people, when it comes to giving an advice, they say read this book. They say attend this course. They do not give the exact advice. What's the point of telling a book to someone? Tell him the core philosophy. Tell him the summary of the book. Tell him what he can learn from that session. So whenever giving a constructive criticism, follow these 5 steps. I'm sure you will be able to give the constructive criticism in better way. If you find it useful, do share it with others. Thank you so much.